You might be wondering, what is this ice you're speaking of? Well, take a look at this. This is our frost giant friend, and here is the water, and the resin looks really, really nice here. I have to say I'm very happy with the result of the resin. It just looks very clear. Here, let's try and get a good look at it. It's so shiny that that it's creating glare, right? But if you look closely, you can see that there's the rocks and all the sand, and you all will remember the rocks and stuff that I was painting and everything. But it really looks like there's a lot of depth to it, which I'm very excited about. And again, I used this whole tape wall thing, but it actually curved nicely. It didn't really bend in awkward ways, right? So I'm very, very happy about that. Mika, that's a very good question. If it's ice, why does the rest of the base look like spring and summer? Because I have yet to add the snow. So here's an example. Here's an example of the snow. And this is more or less an example of what it looks like presently, right? The ground. And then here's the snow effects that I tried out on it. So we still have to do that. We still have to do that. But I figure that'll probably be the last thing I do, because I kind of want to get the ice parts sorted out. So yeah, that's going to involve some scratching. We're going to be doing some sanding on top of this surface here. Some sanding and piling up of some snow on the surface itself, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that looks. I just really love the depth. You guys can see like the rocks and everything. It's really neat. And so I'm very excited about messing around with resin, and I'm probably going to be doing some more bases and maybe even a gunpla model or something, messing around with resin, because I think the results turned out pretty nice. Now let's do a little test and see how hard this is. I think I did this about less than 48 hours ago, so it should be dry. It should be dry. Bacon, would you say you spent more time on the base than the actual figure? No, but it's very close. We're very, very close to reaching that. Like, I could probably go back to all my YouTube videos where I've uploaded my sessions of working on this model. It's close. We're getting there. And I would say that if you really want, especially for a big model like this, if you really want it to stand out and make it look good, you should spend a good amount of time on the base, because really like an excellent base, like a very good base, is going to help your model overall look very, very good. You know what I mean? Anyways. Okay, so let's test this out and see how hard it is. If you can hear, that is hard, guys. That is set. So let's try. Let's take off this tape and see what we've got here. I'm very excited to see. If you look at underneath, some of the resin has bled underneath again as well, but that's okay. Oh, I'm trying to take out this. I'm trying to take out this pin, and it's being quite stubborn. Let's see. Let's get this out. There we are. Whew. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we've got here, guys. And again, this was all my first time experimenting with resin, and I have to say, I think the results are going to be pretty okay. As far as my first time goes, there's some things that I will have to learn from and do better, but for my first try, and especially for this model, which, you know, I've spent a good amount of time on already, I was kind of concerned if it was going to turn out well or not, or if it was going to be a big old waste of time. But I think the results are going to be pretty okay, pretty decent. Here we are. Now the rest of this, I think that there's some tape underneath. Or is it resin? I can't tell if it's tape or resin. Yeah, and some of it is kind of crept underneath and bled. But we can kind of get rid of that. I think... Let me see. Is this tape or resin? Can't tell. There we are. Pretty cool. Again, there's some kind of like upper lip thing going on that we can kind of cut away with a knife. But overall, Not Slide, sliding in. What is up, Not Slide? How are you? I'm just looking at my experiments in resin right now. And overall, I think it's looking okay. I gotta think of a way to get rid of all of this bleeding resin from the underneath. Maybe I can kind of... Booty. Cheeky. I'm pretty happy with it. I feel like it still needs... There still needs to be a bit more work to be done, but we're gonna kind of experiment further and see what we get. This, by the way, is 2 layers of resin. So I poured... You can actually even kind of see the dividing line. There's like a darker blue color resin, and then a lighter tone of resin. That was my second pour. So like 2 days ago, I did this first layer, and then after 24 hours, I did a second pour of a lighter color to kind of create this sense of depth, right? So like, you know, when you're looking at water, it's like kind of darker underneath. Although this will all kind of get more obscured because I'm gonna make it look frosty and everything, because of course this is a frost giant. So yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna work on this. We might even work on it today, but I want to set this guy aside and take a look at my experiments more. This is the experimental table where we're messing around with these bases that I messed around with. Speaking strictly from my Canadian experience, this looks pretty decent, and it does have a bit of depth to it. Like it does look frosty. Okay, Jose's from Pennsylvania. Okay, you know about snow. I think I've been by Pennsylvania before, but it was never actually like a place that I visited, just drove by it, maybe. Yowza. What's up, Yowza? How's it going? So today, Yowza, just to keep you abreast of the situation, we are experimenting with bases and resin and snow and creating a snow and icy effect. And it seems like we're on the right track. It seems like we are kind of on the right track. So I'm feeling pretty confident. So just imagine these two things together, right? Just imagine snow-covered land and an icy, snowy situation. And yeah, Jose, I added your Dempsey roll for when you stop by the stream. Oh, the animation. That's very cool. Thank you for that. That's that's awesome. Yeah, Hajime no Ippo. What a show. So here we go. This is the big one, guys. This is the big boy. And so I'm a little shaky, a little hesitant to really scuff up this surface in the way that I've been doing for this, but it must be done. It must be done. And then we'll add snow all to here. And then we're going to be done, which is a crazy thing to say. We're finally going to be done this guy. Aside from maybe a few tweaks and adjustments. But what a thing what a journey it's been for this model. So let's finish it, guys. Let's do this. Let's wrap this baby up. And first of all, I'm gonna shave off the excess resin that has built up along the sides. Okay, so I love the Katamari soundtrack, but some of the songs are really kind of annoying to listen to, like that one. Yeah, how are you doing, Yowza? How are you doing? What are you up to? Yowza, Jose, nothing much. I just learned that the HG Psycho Gundam is just as tall as an average perfect grade. Holy crap. I guess they'll never make a perfect grade then. Or even a master grade. Have they made a master grade of Psycho? And I'm cutting away because I was very close to cutting myself just at the start, and that wouldn't be good for the stream. Yeah, this resin here. Nope. Okay. I'll never make a. Yeah, because if you're saying that the HD version is already that big, it's crazy how much bigger any other version of it might be. No one can predict how big the Psycho Gundam can be. Not even Jose! Yeah, so again, we're just kind of slowly cutting away at the excess resin from the edges. And I'm happy that the wall that I had built up just with tape has kind of it kind of ended up being nice and smooth and round rather than weird and wrinkly in the case of like these ones, which kind of bent. It kind of got weirdly bent around. Because I was just using tape, and ideally I should have used maybe plasticard, and I actually think I might have some plasticard on me. It's just I don't know, I was feeling lazy, I guess. I was like, tape, let's just use tape. There you go, this is easier to do, just like this. And I can see that the wall, like the paint or the resin kind of curves up against the wall, which isn't ideal, but we'll just continue to kind of slice off some of that. And since we're adding a lot of paint to the side, or we're going to be scuffing it up and everything, it's not that big of a deal that that it needs to be a really super tight and clean finish. But I do want it to be a lot more level than it is right now. And also there's a lot of resin that is built up underneath. I'm gonna have to get rid of that somehow. Maybe I can kind of just peel it off? I don't know. I think I might be able to peel it off. Or sand it off. I'll just lay down some really rough grit sandpaper and just kind of smash this thing over it. But yeah, now that I'm done this model, now that I'm done this and Major Chloe, I'm trying to think of like my next few projects that I should do. And I think that I'm going to do some smaller projects before I decide on some bigger, longer ones. For example, there's like this right here. This is a mimic from Dungeons and Dragons. It's not a treasure chest mimic. It's like a keg or a barrel. And I think maybe the next time I stream, or next time I do a painting stream, I'll paint this all in one session. So like within 3 hours, let's just see how much I can do in 3 hours, and hopefully I can get this to a finished state, something like that. So that might be something that I do. And then yeah, we'll see what else. There's Optimus Prime. I have a miniature of Optimus Prime. I've got 2 entry grade models. One is finished and needs painting. I could do that. I've got the new Gundam entry grade that I can work on. We'll see. I actually saw someone on, I think it was Instagram. I saw someone collect all the original mobile suits, like the 3 big ones, like the gun cannon, the gun tank, and then Grandpa, had like all 3 of them. And that looked really neat. And I kind of want to do that. So I guess I would just get the high grades of those. That might be fun. Jose. Oh snap, really? Oh, you mean like making a scene of all 3 of those? Yeah. If that's what you're referring to. That looked pretty neat. Yeah, I'm thinking. In the meantime, yeah, the next few streams that I do some building and painting, I'll probably just stick to some very small projects, before I really can think of something big to do. But whatever I do next, I'm thinking I'll probably incorporate resin, because I want to experiment with resin more. I want to work with it a bit more. This will officially be the first model that I've worked on it with, right? And so, I still need to kind of experiment and learn the ropes of resin, blah blah blah. And we're getting to a point where we're very close to the base level of the resin before it starts to kind of curve up. That's what I'm doing now. It's just kind of getting down to that base level. But this is very encouraging as far as the end result. It's very encouraging. We're going to apply that to here. Okay, guys, I gotta be careful. I'm putting a lot of pressure. I feel like I'm kind of forcing it, and I don't want to accidentally rip apart something like the model itself from the base. That would be bad. Ella616 now following. Thank you for the follow, Ella. Appreciate it. How are you today? What are you up to? Oh shoot. I just said I need to be careful, and I've already peeled away a rock. I peeled away a rock from the base. Shit. Let's just glue that back on. Very carefully. Where's my tweezers? My tweezers. Let's see, right here. Just gonna put this back. It's just like an extra clump of debris that I had glued on to add more of a texture. There we go. Okay. Okay. Let's just brush off some of this stuff. Yeah, this resin, this pour of resin here, I can tell that I did a much better job, and it's a lot more cured, and it's very, very hard, which is what you want. But it did kind of leak and seep underneath, and I'm trying to think about how I'm going to peel that off. How am I going to get that off? I might have to just slice it off, but we'll do that later, because it actually doesn't, it's not like level now. Well, it kind of is still. Let's just wipe away any excess, and here we go, guys. I think I'm going to take a picture of this model in this state. Let me just get a quick snap of this for the purposes of documenting my process. Let's just get a shot of this. There we are. Because now I'm going to possibly screw it all up. I mean, I don't think so, judging from what I had done already. But it'll be a good idea to kind of document my process. So just pardon me, folks, while I kind of get a good angle on this. Alright. And while I'm at it, let's get a snap of this. My test base, which I think turned out pretty nice, I have to say. And we can actually make it a whole lot more snowy as we go along. Here we are. Just give me a second. Okay. Let's see if there's any extra dust here. I think we're okay. It's not too big of a deal if I was kind of worried about bubbles forming on the resin, but it's not that big of a deal because I was going to be doing all this to it, so you know, not really going to see the bubbles. And even so, like, when I did see bubbles, eventually they kind of disappeared. Like, they kind of collected on the edges of this part, or they just sort of rose to the top and then disappeared. So that kind of worked out anyways. Okay, guys, bravery test. It's the bravery test. Jose, man, watching you work on diorama makes me excited to work on mine in the future. Yeah, man. I'd really love to see what you can do, what you'll do with your models in a diorama. It's fun. Like, I don't do it all the time, but I do feel like it really helps. Like with models, especially when a model might be kind of small and it doesn't have enough of a presence on its own, you can add like a little scene, a little diorama, and that really helps kind of create more of a presence, I guess. And or if you have like a really big model or a really fancy model that you are kind of like super hyped about, adding a diorama kind of is that extra little cherry on top, you know? But okay, I've been stalling because now I have to get into this and scratch this. Oh shit, I just did a scratch. I just scratched it. Oh, I did it again. Here we go, let's do it. It's too late now. Oh, and let's put our mask on. Let's put a mask on. Give me a second. because this is resin after all, so you don't want to breathe this stuff in. And let's go, let's go. This is the bravery test. We're scratching. And actually, before we get to doing all that, let's scuff up the surface with the different kind of sanding. Maybe this one here? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Oh my god. We're really messing up this now. There's no turning back, guys. No turning back. Sounds like a Van Damme movie or a Steven Seagal movie or both of them together. No turning back. And yeah, we just want to create a more kind of roughed up surface. So do you have an idea in mind in what kind of diorama kind of scene that you would like to do, Jose? That'd be, yeah, I think it'd be really neat. Let's try and kind of take off a lot more material towards the edges, because we do have that kind of raised lip, which I don't like, and I tried to kind of get rid of it, but we want to get more material off. And again, scuffing this all kind of helps make it look more like a frosted surface. Jose, good question, haven't thought of one yet. Okay, yeah. I think it's really fun because, like, you can kind of build a story, you know? Sound like a Reading Rainbow or something, but yeah, you can kind of build a story around a diorama and setup. Okay, let's just take off more material towards the edges. And I guess we don't want to go too far with all of this, but especially on the edges, like I said, I kind of want to bring it down a notch or two. And actually, we can go into the finer grits to make it look a little more balanced, which is probably what I'll do. So yeah, let's kind of go a little more aggressive on the edges at least, because we're gonna kind of sand that down anyways. I think what happened was some resin seeped underneath and then created like a slight imbalance, which kind of caused more resin to creep up along the edges. And that's one of those things where it's just a learning experience for me. Just gotta make sure it's level next time, and that we really seal off the edges so that nothing comes over, or under, I should say. This is just about the heaviest grit sandpaper I have, so this should do the job, but I may have worn this stuff out because this is rather old, so maybe it's lost some of its abrasiveness. Jose, gonna have to watch some scenes in Gundam to think of one? Yeah, I actually saw, you know, it wasn't too long ago that I actually watched the first original Gundam series. I had seen a few other Gundam shows previously, but it wasn't too long ago that I just saw the first series, and there's even just within the first series itself, there's so many great scenes that you could do something based around, you know? There's a lot of inspiration that you could take from just that. Oh, and you know what? There's a Gundam competition happening in the next province over from Ontario, in Quebec. And it's happening kind of soon, and I don't know, we just had a long trip, so I'm not really thinking about like going on another longish trip to Quebec and entering a competition, but yeah, it's something to think about. Like maybe for next year, I'd really like to enter a competition. Have for any of you here, have any of you guys entered like a model building competition? And how did you find that experience? Because I've only entered one, as far as like a Gundam competition. I've entered one like a long time ago. It was kind of fun. All right. Let me see. Let me check my sandpaper situation. Let's try this. This stuff might be a little rougher. I'm gonna have to give this entire workspace a nice pass with the vacuum and get all of this dust out because it's resin. It's not great. Don't breathe in resin, guys. Okay. Let's see. Maybe we can wet this thing, and that way the resin dust won't like fly around. I don't know. Let's try that. Now that I've wet it, I can see that it doesn't look as pronounced as like the lip, I guess, if you could imagine it being like a bowl. The lip of it doesn't look as pronounced as I thought it might be, which is good. Okay. Okay. Now let's get into the finer grits and just kind of smooth this out. I still see a bit of a lip, but I don't know. I think between all the snow crap that I'm putting on, shit. I want it to be really flat, so I was gonna say I could get away with how it looks right now, but I know I'm gonna be annoyed by the fact that it's still kind of pronounced, so we shall continue. I was thinking about doing a few other things on today's stream, but now I realize that I'm just going to be doing this model, which is, that's fine. We're going to finish this baby up once and for all. Let me just check my... I think I might need to buy more coarse sandpaper. That's another thing I need to think about buying. I have a lot of fine grit stuff, but I don't have a lot of heavy grit. Because, it doesn't occur to me that that's something that I would need. But yeah, I do. Let's use this. It's a little harder. Basically, we just kind of want to get rid of the lip. No lip. Don't give me that lip. But yeah, I'm very excited about the direction of the Marvel Universe. Talking about Marvel Comics and stuff, or the Marvel movies, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with what's coming down the pipeline. Black Panther looks really good. I think it's going to be quite an emotional movie, I think. The whole Chadwick Boseman situation. And I suspect that he's going to die from cancer. It's not a secret that the Black Panther character T'Challa will die in some fashion, because the actor died, and they said that they were going to just retire the character. But we don't really know in what manner is T'Challa going to die. But I'm thinking it's going to be cancer. In the Marvel Universe, it seems like cancer is something that like you just simply don't recover from, or it's not like for all the magic and science fiction stuff that happened in comic books. Cancer is still just something that like can hit like a superhero, and then they're dead. You know, in fact, there was a major storyline within Marvel Comics. Captain Marvel, in fact, the dude version, right? Not the one that we know presently. Died from cancer, and I believe he's never really come back, at least not in any permanent way. And I think that's something like that they do in the comics just to make it so that, I don't know, because it's so real, right? Like, for all the silly things that happen in comics, like, you know, they still wanted to keep some semblance of real life and how cancer is like, it sucks, you know? I don't know. But yeah, I suspect it might be cancer. And then they're just gonna... Yeah, we don't really know who's gonna take over the mantle of Black Panther. Could it be Shuri? Could it be that guy, that other big guy? We don't know. Could it be... What's his name? Michael B. Jordan's character, even though he was a bad guy? Who knows? Okay, I think that's looking pretty good now. Jose thought it would be his sister. Yeah, that's entirely possible. But we really, at this point, it's, I don't know, I guess it's part of the mystery of the movie. Who's it gonna be? Who will it be? We don't really know. She's definitely a candidate, and in fact, she has been the Black Panther in the comics. She did become the Black Panther in the comics. Okay, now we're gonna go in with this knife. We're gonna scratch up the surface some more. This is like, yeah, this is one of those things where I'm like, ooh, I don't know, is this gonna be good? Is this a good idea? But we must do it. And it's like, you know, I work so hard to create this look of water, and then I'm just completely scratching the surface up. It sounds like madness. It sounds like madness. But no, I'm just doing stuff. We'll see how it turns out. Vanilla looks pretty nice so far. Thank you. We're getting there. Again, this is the goal, I guess. I think that's the goal. Not Slide, you can't even get a freeze frame from the trailer because of how well obscured the body is. Yeah, I mean, my initial reaction was that the body of the Black Panther that we see at the very end there, I thought it looked like a girl, but I'm not sure. I really don't know. I don't know. And I guess I don't want to overdo this. I guess. I'm just gonna make sure that we have some scratches here towards the edges. Ooh, I noticed that the resin kind of dips, like right here. There's a dip in the resin. It didn't flatten out. That's again my mistake. I thought that I was pouring it and it was all flat, but I can tell now that it kind of became yeah, kind of concave. And that might be due to all of the rocks here. Okay, let's do a couple of big ones, big pronounced ones. And we'll do a couple of pronounced ones here. This will all kind of look clear once we wash it all off, and then I'm going to kind of make it pronounced yet again with some white paint. It's funny, it kind of looks like a spring summery scene, but yeah, it's by the end, hopefully it'll look wintry. Okay, let's yeah, I still have my mask on. I just, you know, don't want to breathe in resin dust. Let's try and wipe this off. And I don't know what I'll use. Let's use this. Wipe all this scratched, because, you know, obviously it creates all this dust and gives you a false idea of how it'll look when it's all clean. So let's just clean it up a little bit. Okay, so once you kind of wet it, it kind of goes back to looking kind of clear again, and we want to get to a point where it looks frosty. So we're gonna continue to kind of scratch it up. Ashwin, looking good, brother. Thank you, Ashwin. How are you today, Ashwin? Ashwin contributes 6,000 in total to the viewers decide on what mini next to paint challenge. Thank you, Ashwin. That challenge is still ongoing. I did. Okay, here for everyone here, I'm going to ask you something. Should I cancel that? Should I cancel that challenge and redo it with a lower total? You guys will all be refunded your Energon cubes if we refund it. So it's totally fine, and I'll make it like half the cost, half the price. It's a half off sale. I'll make it half off, and or do you want to stick with it? Do you want to? Okay, so yeah, do you want to stick with it, or do you want to get refunded? So I can do that. No problem. Yeah, okay. Ashwin, whatever you want to do, I'm okay with the way it is. Okay. And Jose is saying, let's do it. I think making it pricey makes sense. Lower the goal, not slide. Yeah, I did I only realized the math like much later, and I was like, oh shit, this doesn't it doesn't make sense. It doesn't work out. Okay, so I'm gonna do that next time. I'll do that next time I stream, or after I stream, and I'll do the math. Promise. Yeah, it's never my strong point, guys. Yeah, I just did it, and I was like, huh, this actually doesn't work out. Like, so I'll do the math next time. Oh my god! Okay, so I'll do that next time. You guys will all be suddenly refunded Energon cubes. You will have a bounty of Energon cubes, and then we'll make it something more affordable. Yeah, because I think it was when I was away on my trip, I suddenly realized, like, shit, this isn't gonna actually work out. But your Eshwin is right. It does make sense that it should be pricey, but mathematically speaking, it relative to the amount of time that you have and the amount of money or energon that comes through, it just doesn't work out. Not slide. If Twitch showed you how many points were in circulation, that would be lit. But they're actually butts and don't show that information. How many points were in circulation? Like you mean like how much of my points are getting used? Yeah, I guess, yeah, that would be useful. I think they do show you like a projection, which I didn't even realize at the time. I think they do show you a projection of how much you could make. But I just wasn't paying attention. I don't know. So I'm realizing that like the larger sort of slashes that I've made are very equally spaced, and that's bad. I hate that. So we're gonna kind of like make some of them look a lot more pronounced. And we can kind of like go in on the edges too.
Easy operation.
Oh, I see what you mean. So for example, I have 13.8k points. How many people are hoarders like me? Yeah, I actually have a lot of points in Bacon Stream. I've got like 100 and maybe like 200 almost. But he doesn't have any like big collective stretch goals. If he had something like that, I could just blow all my points on blow all my bacon bits, which he doesn't like. He doesn't want to call them bacon bits, even though it's just right there. It's just low-hanging fruit for him. Easy operation. Ashwin, I just want a soundboard. I wonder if there's a way to get a soundboard. Yeah, I wonder if there's a soundboard like that you can use without being affiliate, using one of the extensions, maybe. Okay. I'm just looking for ways I can make it look less evenly spaced out. Oh my god. I'm knocking over pieces of rock that I had glued on. But we're close. I think that's getting pretty close to the end result that I'm looking for. I have 7k here and only 430k. That's only 430k? That's a lot, dude. I blow all my bits. I love getting the sounds. Oh, 40k. Okay. Yeah, you only need 7? That's not bad, Eshwin. But of course, you need to, you smoke weed and you really enjoy this music? It's from Katamari. Have you ever played Katamari, Eshwin? I think you have. Seems like a game that you might like. Don't forget though, in addition to getting the followers you need, you also need to have like something like 8 concurrent chatters or 5 concurrent chatters. There's like some other shit. It's hard. It's actually kind of hard like to do, to be honest. So, but yeah, you'll get there. Just keep hacking away at it. All things considered, you are making pretty good time in terms of achieving affiliate. I would say that you're on a pretty good pace, a very good pace. Okay, let's wet this again. I played Katamari, but I didn't beat the second or third stage. It was strangely hard for me. I had the Vita version. Yeah, it's not a particularly hard game, but then again, I haven't played the Vita version. I don't know if they made the Vita version much harder or something. But yeah, it's a fun game. I should play it someday. I'd like to play it on stream at some point. I was saying earlier that Keita Takahashi, the designer of that game, was like, it's like a huge inspiration for me, a huge I don't know what's the word. I don't know if role model is the right word, but just a very interesting individual that comes from the art world and ended up developing video games and still maintained his kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if I want to say artistic integrity, but his artistic personality into his games. It's very cool, and you know that's like a huge. That's a I don't know. I don't want to say AAA game, but that is a game from Bandai or Bandai Namco. So you know it had a lot of backing. It's a huge company, and he was able to release such a strangely singular kind of such a unique game under those circumstances. And the same applies to Fumito Ueda from Shadow of the Colossus and sorry, I'm just cleaning up my space. I'm thinking about how am I going to go about cleaning up all this crap, all this resin dust. Yeah, Fumito Ueda, who did Shadow of the Colossus and Eco, again, came from an art background and managed to somehow swindle Sony into making like this weirdly artistic game. And it was like released on a huge scale, like as a mass market product. I like stories like that. It's very interesting to me. So what I'm trying to say is that's my goal. One day I would like to also swindle a gigantic multi-billion-dollar company into producing a product birthed from my weird vision. That would be very amusing. Okay. Let's also clean up this area again. Very conscious of the resin dust. I'm going to vacuum all of this crap up too later. Okay. Okay. So this is the state that we are in presently. And now we're going to take our sponge and we're going to dab some white paint. I can take off my mask now, pardon me. Ashwin, oddly or not oddly, whenever I play games, I usually just play Turtles. That Turtles game just feels and plays amazingly, and it's Turtles. Yeah, I should get back to playing that too. Actually, I like authorship in games. I wish it was more common, but then again, how common is it anywhere, even in comics or films? True auteurs, you know, I do like that too. And of course, we often talk about, especially in Bacon Stream, about Kojima games, and we often, you know, heap a lot of praise onto Kojima, but you know, he's the director, but he's not the singular guy making these games, and the same applies to Fumito Ueda and Keita Takahashi and all of these guys. It's like, you know, I like that too, but we also need to appreciate the fact that there's just so many people that make games that are involved in the making of a single game, and we also have to be very careful about attributing too much credit to one person, because, you know, it's like Kojima, we love him, but you know, some of the things that you might like about a Kojima game, he might not have been actually responsible for, right? For example, you know, the visuals and the designs of the characters, that's not him, right? That's Yoji Shinkawa. So, you know, we always have to be conscious of that as well, which I'm sure all you guys are very aware of that too. Okay, let's thin down some white paint and get this stuff into the crevices of the edges here. And I just want to do a dabbing motion. In fact, I should probably use a bigger brush for this. Use a bigger brush and we kind of want just the white paint to get into the scratches that I made. And I guess that this white paint would also kind of clump up towards the... Oh shoot, I'm realizing this brush is like, it's got some soap on it because it's so soapy. What the hell? The water is so soapy anyways. It'll be foam. I feel like I could have made the scratches more pronounced. But anyways. Let's just dab this white paint all around, and yeah, there's some bubbles. There's some kind of like foaming up happening, but that's fine, I think. I think that'll end up being fine. And now, just gonna get more white paint. Yeah, I feel like I could have made the scratches a bit more pronounced. Let's see. Can I put in more white paint? I'm kind of making this up as I go along, guys. I did watch tutorials on how to do this, but at the same time, I'm not 100% sure how this is gonna go. It's not like I've done this myself. It's not like I've ever done this, so just trying to figure it out. It's the name of the game here over at Epo Dempsey Roll Studios. Just make shit up. Not slide. You're not a 10,000 million% pro? Why am I subbed and watching? I don't know, but I actually appreciate that you guys watch. I appreciate that all you guys watch and not slide and Jose subbed up. Appreciate it, guys. Why indeed? Why indeed? Okay, yeah, that's looking a lot better. It's a lot more pronounced. There you go. That's actually looking pretty neat now. Pretty neat. Let's just kind of push the bubbles. There's some bubbles. It's looking a little more frosty. Jose. Yeah. Now I'm kind of deliberately sort of letting the white paint go into the crevices. I'm kind of intentionally painting it over. This is still very thinned down, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. And maybe we don't need it to be so uniformly solid. Maybe we can kind of bring it down a bit, just like here, just like here. Some Bob Ross for you guys, just like here. Let's get some phthalo blue. Go. Let's take a look. Let's take a quick look. Yeah. Yeah, maybe.